Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing To the Bone. This came out in 2017 and was directed by Marty Noxon and stars Lilly Collins, Alex Sharp, Keanu Reeves, Lily Taylor and a variety of others. The film really follows Ellen, played by Lilly Collins, an unruly 20-year-old anorexic girl who spent the better part of her teenage years being shepherded through various recovery programs, only to find herself several pounds lighter every time. Determined to find a solution, a dysfunctional family agrees to send her to a group home for youths, which is led by a non-traditional doctor played by Keanu Reeves. Surprised by the unusual rules, Ellen must discover for herself how to confront her addiction and tempt self-acceptance. This was a really powerful and effective film that's simply told in a beautiful way. There's humour and drama and it mixes together in a realistic kind of way. I didn't really know too much about this film going in. The main draw to this was Lilly Collins. I think she's a really great actress and she's starting to emerge and do some really fascinating, interesting work. And I think this is by far her best performance. She lost weight for the role. She's very believable. Has some really great moments in the film. I just really love her performance. And it really is kind of a harrowing film, but realistic. And they try and lighten it up with a little bit of humour here and there, which I really liked. I'm not familiar with the filmmaker, but I thought this was a really interesting film. I felt hooked from the beginning. I really like Keanu Reeves in it. He's playing an unconventional doctor. I really like how he goes about trying to help these young youth who are going through this difficult time and his unconventional ways. And I really think that's fantastic. He finds a way for them to accept themselves and to embrace life and the fact that they are alive. And Ellen's a character that really doesn't see the point to a lot of things and really struggles and has been this way for so long that she's sort of kind of scared of letting go of that. She has control of the way that she lives life and what she eats and how she sort of goes about feeling okay with eating by doing these particular exercises. There's a real relatability there for a lot of people, I think. I like the array of different youth that we meet at this sort of house, and we see how all of them have different eating problems and how they're sort of trying to come to terms with that and overcome that. There's some great scenes where Ellen is ultimately confronted by a family, where the doctor gets them to sit around and talk about what's going on and how they feel about what she's doing and how that's having an effect on them. And they start to speak candidly about how they feel, and it starts to have an effect on her. And in this particular scene, it just felt like they hadn't been really thinking about how she was feeling. It was more about how they were feeling. And I guess this is very realistic in this sort of situation where the family do feel this way. They do, some of them do feel responsible, and they do feel that it's too much to take on sometimes. But they don't really consider how she's sort of feeling and dealing with it. And I really like this scene. And there's some other great scenes in the film. It's a really fascinating film of a world I'm not completely familiar with, but I understand to an extent of having friends in this sort of circumstances and myself struggling with a particular eating problem as well. And so there's a relatability here that I didn't quite expect, and it blew me away, and I really loved that. All the acting's great here, all the side characters are great, but the real standout here is Lilly Collins, and Keanu Reeves does a great job. It's really about a person trying to accept who they are and trying to move forward and trying to deal with the issues that they find themselves struggling with. And it has some really inventive ways of showing particular things, especially towards the end. And I really like the way the film ends. It's a good choice where they went, and I think it's perfect for the story that they were telling. And I think people who are struggling with these eating problems and a variety of things find a connection to it in some way. Final thoughts. In the end, it's really about a young woman trying to come to terms with things, to accept who she is as a person, and to try and deal with what's going on, and to try and work her way through this eating disorder that she has, or eating problem that she has, that she can't seem to make sense of. And it's really about her navigating through that. We see the highs and the lows of it. We see her struggle with it. We see the struggle that her family go through when she's going through this herself. And it really asks the question of, what do you want? What do you really want in life? And how do you go about getting it? Not what you think everybody else wants or the expectation of everyone. It's what you want. And I think that's what this film really talks about. I want to give To the Bone 4 out of 5. I really liked this film. I thought it was well made, good acting, really captivating and engaging story, and just ultimately a really fascinating film. And I thoroughly enjoyed my experience with it. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Follow me on Facebook. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.